Hey everyone, so here is the Korea Form 200 listing agreement form that you sign with a realtor when you sell a house, when you list a house for sale. Not when you sell it, but when you list it for sale. The form, very standard form, just the front page. It's 4 pages in length, very simple to understand. But let's go through the most important section for you and how you're manipulated in some ways, or potentially manipulated. Manipulated might be the wrong word to use, might be too strong of a word. Some people might get upset with that word. So let's change that word out to what you need to know to maximize your return. So every week I go through and I do the math and I break down what the average selling price is in the city of Windsor. This week it was $560,000, right? Steady. That's been steady Eddie all year long. Every single month, been 560, 560, 560. Hasn't changed. Rock of Gibraltar. The Windsor real estate market is the Rock of Gibraltar of real estate markets across Canada. And the reason for that is we're the South Beach of Canada. We've got beautiful weather. People are moving here in droves. Still to this day, people are moving here in droves. You don't see it as much in the real estate market because they're coming into the rental properties. They're coming into the rental buildings. And then they're finding the right neighborhood to live in, and then they're buying a house. It's a great resource for a new realtor to be marketing to all of our rental buildings. I believe that there will always be a massive sum of buyers every year just marketing to our rental buildings. I got clients right now, they're just renting a house. They're $1 million clients. I'm going to find the right house, Brian. We're going to take our time. We're in no hurry. It's okay, which is good. It's how I always suggest that people move into Windsor. So every week I do this report. And every week I do some different math. So what I do is I add up the listing and the selling price. The listing price was $540, the selling price was $560, the average. And then I show you what the average days on market was. Average days on market this week was 24.82. Okay. Now, I then break it down further. And I go in and I pull up, okay, which houses sold at 2.5% competing broker commission, and which houses sold for 2.0, and which houses sold for 2.25. I get the whole report because I ask for the data when I run the report. There's even one here that sold for 3.0 someplace, wherever it went. I can't find it quickly, but there was one in here for 3.0. There. It was a $750,000 house, 3.0. It sold for its asking price. Now, what was interesting this week, too, is we did have some discounting come down into the $600,000 price range. That's not anything to be concerned about because this is the back-to-school week. So back-to-school weeks, houses underperform. They just do. I mean, there was this one house on, I'm getting away from myself, but on Pleasant Place. They were just having a heck of a time selling it, but they had overpriced it. $699 was way overpriced for Pleasant Place. Way overpriced for Pleasant Place. And it sold for $615. 53 days on market. And a 2% listing commission. It's part of the reason it took so long to sell. And then I break down and I say, okay, how many houses were listed at 2.0? How many houses were listed at 2.25, 2.5, and 3.0? I give you that data. And then I break down days on market. 2.0, 19.87, 2.25, 61, I think it was, whatever that number is there, and 2.5, 34. Just because some of the 2.5s, there was 172 days. There were some skews in that data set. Okay? And then 3.0 was 70 days on the market, which is rare, but it shows you that 3.0 doesn't really factor in. You should just pay 2.5. But I then show average days on market, 24. I then show you what the average overbid was. Average overbid was 2144. And I show you how the 2.0s did. They got 80.54% of the 20,144. The 2.25s actually underperformed because there was only one of them this week. But the 2.5s way overperformed again. They got 146% of the 20,144. So then I break that down into the video that I just shot out in the garage, this data set, and I ask you, which would you rather have? 16,223 or 29,531? I would rather have 29,531. I think that you would too. That's why I asked that question. Which would you rather have? Now, so when you list your house, you control what competing realtor commission you pay. Right? The realtor will come in and say, yeah, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a 5% commission. And then they fill out the form, and if you're not paying any attention, then you can underperform. Because they're not going to tell you about game theory because they haven't taken university classes, or maybe they have, but maybe their degree is in something other than business, not sure. Don't know. Well, they haven't watched my video about game theory and about pricing points in real estate commissions. They just don't know. They've never been told. They've never been taught. They've never researched this stuff like what I do. So what I do is I know what the average over is. And then I come in and I say, okay, so let's I go through each one. Takes a little bit of time. And I say 285 minus 269.9 divided by 20,000. I round it down 20,000. So it got 75% of the average over, because the 20,000 is the average over. So this house got 20%, or 75% of the average over. It was listed at 2.5. It was on the market for 8 days. I run this report. I plug in the data sets to run in the report. I run it the same way every day, every year, every month. Always have. Exact same way. So I have a data set run the exact same way that never changes. That's how I can tell you that throughout the whole year we've been rock steady at 560. Windsor Real Estate is the Gibraltar of Ontario real estate, or Canada real estate. One of the pluses. And I also go through and I look at, who's selling what. But you don't really need to know that. That's just for me. I can do this for each area in the county. I can do this all across Canada, I believe. Just never cared to, because I'm not working in Brampton. I don't need to know what Brampton's business is. I work in Windsor. Need to know exactly what's going on in the city of Windsor. And some of the houses way underperformed, like this one here, sold for $615. Oh, that's Pleasant Place again. $615 on a $699 listing. So it was negative $417, 417% under the average over. They way underperformed. But they had overpriced the house in the first place. All kinds of different factors in all of this. I talked to the listing realtor there, so I know a little bit more about what's going on with it. I'm not going to share that in this video. Would never do that, because that's their own client, and that's a transaction in real estate. And I never step in the middle of this. But this is the listing agreement. So the realtor, when they're with you, fills this form out. And they'll put in here 5.0. So, okay, so I'm only going to charge you 5.0% commission. And then they say, I've signed down here, go ahead and initial. When you initial. But you don't pay any attention to what else they wrote on this. This is the most important part. Right here in the center of the page. Most important. If you're paying 2.0, congratulations. You're saying you only want $16,000. But if they're charging 5% commission, then what you want is 2.5 written down here and initialed by you. So you get $29,000. Why would you want something less? They're going to go through the pure hell of selling your house anyway. You may as well get paid for it. And if a realtor fills out these forms and balks when they try to do this to you, unless they're doing something special for you. Like for me, when I do an estate clean out, I charge 5% commission. I pay 2% to the competing realtor. And I take 3% for me to pay for the dumpster, for the labor hours. It costs me $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to do an estate clean out. And I got to make that money back someplace. So I pay myself a little bit more when I sell the house and pay the competing realtor a little bit less. That, I'm giving you something for that. But sometimes I'm just doing a listing. Sometimes I'm just having my photographer come out. He charges me $450 to come out. Well, that's no reason to charge you $5,000. On a $500,000 listing, I'm still ended up making $12,000. I think I can afford to pay $450 for a photographer. It's no big deal. It's just a business expense. Why wouldn't I cover that? But if they're offering you a $1,400 package of marketing, because some realtors do, then maybe they should be getting 5.0 and taking 3% for themselves. Maybe. Don't know. You decide that. If they're doing all the estate work and cleaning everything out and cutting the grass and taking care of everything for you, then yeah, they should get paid more because they're doing more for you. But if they're coming in just with their phone, snapping photos, putting it on the MLS and saying, here we go, then maybe they should just get paid 2. And the competing realtor may need to be paid 3. That's kind of crazy because it just showed you that 3 actually underperforms. You really only need to pay 2.5. It should be 5.0 and 2.5 because you will overperform. And I've showed you that time and time and time again. So my point is, if you're sitting with a realtor doing a listing agreement, test them. Let them go and run with the whole thing. Yeah, we're going to charge you 5. Let them go and run. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and run. Do your thing. And then when they present this form to you all filled out and say, okay, I just need your signatures. We'll get started on that. I'll have the photographer. I already got them scheduled in for Wednesday. We'll get started. It'll go live Thursday. Pay attention to the paperwork. If they come in at 5.0 and they come in at 2.0, you will underperform time and time and time again. You'll have to make some decisions. You might say, wait a second, I don't want to do this. This is my house to sell. In Canada, you get to choose the commission structure. We can't dictate to you the commission structure. That's illegal. We're just your representative. That's all that we are. You tell us what you want us to do. So then you say, wait a second. I watch Brian's videos. I'm listing with you, Fred, but I watch Brian's videos and I want this number changed to 2.5. Please change it to 2.5 or change it yourself to 2.5 and then put your initials in it. That's all. Very simple. You're not changing anything on the contract. You're just simply saying, wait a second, pay the competing realtor 2.5 because I want 29,000 on average. I don't want 16,000 on average. I want 29,000 on average. You don't have to do any of this rating in there. That's not allowed. But just change this. Or say to the realtor, wait a second, I need this changed to 2.5, please. And you'll overperform time and time and time and time again. And you'll be rare in the marketplace too, because last week, of the houses that sold, 37 of them were 2.0, and only 11 of them were 2.5. So you've been one of 12, paying more. And realtors like that. They pay attention to that. They're not supposed to, but supposedly they do. So that's not a bad problem to have. So think about that. I'll let you decide that. But that's where it is on the listing agreement form to be able to say, no, 2.5, and then you initial John Seller. Okay. And then later on, you go through all the rest of the paperwork. You go through sign, 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 initial, initial, initial. It's all done. You overperform. I want you to overperform. Now, if you sit with a realtor and they give you any pushback to this, unless they're offering you some kind of package, you know, hey, I'm doing that $1,400 package where you're getting your website and stuff, you get to decide that. I really don't want that. What I want to do in order to over exceed is I want to pay you $5. Totally agree with that. But I want you to pay the competing realtor $2.5, and I'm not really that important in your $1,400 package. I'd like to have professional photography done. Yeah, that's built into any package. But you negotiate all this stuff. And I'm sorry, but if a realtor comes out to you and fills all these forms out and leaves it at 2.0, and you sign it, you're saying, I want to underperform. I've showed you that time and time and time and time again. Now you're free to underperform. That's your choice. Don't know why you'd want to underperform. So that's where it's at. We need to stop underperforming. Here's how serious the problem actually is. I don't know where my calculator went. It's buried here, but here's my calculator. So there were 37 houses for the week that so 29, 531 minus 16, 223 is 13,308. By 37 is 492,396 that underperformed. That was $500,000, $500,000 of money just left on the table. Yeah, we don't care for that money. No, I'm sorry. But we need to stop this kind of thinking in this city. And we need to get back to paying a CB of 2.5 to better perform. Now, there's no guarantees. It also comes down to pricing points and things like that. And that would be one of my competitors would say that. Yes, but. Okay. But let's look at the ones that underperformed. All of these marked in green. 2.0, negative 49. 2.0, even. 2.0, negative 173. Who wants that? Negative 173,000, 173% of the average over? That wouldn't be good. 2.0, negative 19.3, not too bad. 2.0, negative 96.8. 2.0, negative 98.7. 2.0, negative 49.1. 2.0, negative 49.1. 2.0, even. 2.0, negative 4.7. 2.25, negative 69.4. 2.0, positive 243.7. That realtor over exceeded. It was a house on Cypress. It was a relatively new, probably a townhome. Sold in 8 days. A lot of people looking for townhomes. Listed at $579.9, which was the right price to list it at, if you ask me, and sold for $629. 2.0, negative 69.0. 2.0, negative 49.6. 2.0, negative 198. Listed at $749, sold for $710. 2.0, negative 161.3. 2.0, positive 417.4. That realtor, Joe St. Louis, again, overperformed, did well. 3.0, even. 2.0, negative 123.6. 2.5, positive 248.7. Whoa! 2.0, positive 248.7. 2.0, negative 244.7. 2.0, negative 644.8. Now that was $1 million listing on Terabella Drive, wherever that's at in LaSalle. So my point is, when I go through these, of the 50 that sold, you can see that as I was going through, there's a lot of them. There's actually only 29 sold over, and 17 of them sold under. 17% was actually 80.9% of houses that sold under. Of the houses that sold under, those that decided to sell at 2%, 80.9 of them underperformed. 80.9% of them underperformed. So there you go. There's game theory in real estate. There's what to look for and how to fix that. And if a realtor gives you any crap about this, you just have the wrong realtor. There's over 1,600, well, 1,480 of them, I believe, right now in the Windsor, Essex County area, down from 1,600 at the peak of the market because realtors have left. Call me. I'll talk to you again about this number, how important this number is. This number is not important. If this number is very important to you, and commission structure is important, you want to break someplace, you want to do 4.5% total commission, okay, that's fine. This is still going to stay, if you list with me, it's still going to stay 2.5. It's just that I'm only going to make 2.0. I'm going to take a pay cut. Now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to talk to you about the concept, okay, if I'm taking a cut, then I'll still have my professional photographer come out because I still want to do the video. I still want to look good because it's going to help me find other houses to list. I'm still going to do that. I'll talk to you about that. As long as you approve me to be able to do that, okay, that's good. And I'll list it and pay myself 2.0. I just got done selling a house on Riverside Drive. It was not pleasant at all, by the way. I just got done selling a house on Riverside Drive for $853,000. And the net to me was just $8,500. Now, I'll never do that ever again. Don't ask, because the answer will be no. You'll have to list with somebody else. Because it was pure hell. And I'll never, ever, ever do it again. And I knew kind of going into what I was getting myself into. But I wanted to help that person. Even though I'm the devil incarnate because I tried to help her. And did help her. I was successful. But I'm still the devil incarnate. But I knew that going in. I knew that I was always going to be the mean, nasty person. Just from day one, I knew that. But God, I still want to help her. I'll do whatever it takes. I got through it. I'm still in one piece. So that's all okay. So keep that posted. Keep that in mind. That's what's going on when we talk about how to fix 2.0 versus 2.5, how important 2.5 actually is week after week after week after week after week. It's $13,000 more. Why would you ever sign a form with 2.0 here? You're underperforming. Don't ever do it. You choose that, by the way. So if you choose that, okay, you can send me a note and say, Brian, look, I just chose that. It's okay. I don't really need that much money for my house. And some people don't need that much money for their house. Sometimes it's okay. Or, hey, the realtor promised me X or Y or Z, so I signed this. But, okay, one other thing. Because there's realtors out there that do this too. They'll come in for the listing and they'll promise you the world. Okay? They will promise you the world. We will help you clean out your house. We will help you move. We will hire the movers. We will do whatever. It will be on packing day. We will be here to help you. That's great. No problem. I do that. But have them on page 4, which I don't have printed here, is actually the schedule. And so then you would say, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay, 2.0 is fine here then. But on the schedule, page 4, read. What does it say? Here's what we're doing for you. They better be listed. And you sign, you initial. They initial, and then you initial. And if they don't perform these things, then they're in violation of the listing agreement their broker of record needs to know, because the broker of record will fix that. Holy shit, we cannot be in violation of our listing agreement. That is against the law in Canada. You promised them X, you signed for X, they initialed for X, you're taking care of these things, or you're not working here anymore. That's how it works. It's all written down. Hey, I'm going to help you by helping you on closing, on packing day. I'm going to come over. I'm going to pack for up to 4 hours. Then it would be written down. Includes packing assistance. And it can be written by hand, by the way, too. Up to 4 hours on packing day. Signed, realtor, signed you. If it's not on the schedule, it doesn't exist. If it's not in the deal anywhere, it doesn't exist. So it has to be written down. So make sure that happens too. Because there's a husband and wife team. I did a video about it. All you have to do is scroll back. It was in Kingsville, of all places. I did a video about how all of my project was all done, how the house was all nice and clean, and closing day was the next day. And then I showed you the house next door that had mounds and piles of stuff out in front of it. And you know what happened there? That realtor promised them things according to them and never delivered. And they were never written down. So you have to be careful with that too, because it does happen. There are people out there that do that. I don't understand it, but there are people out there that do that. Okay, they exist. So that gives you the breakdown of never, 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 or stop, stop, stop. This is stop video 2, by the way. Stop video 2. And I'll title it that way, stop 2. If you have any questions about competing realtor commission and how important that is, I've covered in nauseam. If you don't understand it, give me a jingle. If you're thinking about selling your house and want to do well when you sell your house, then give me a jingle. I'm looking for work right now. I'm hireable. I'm Brian. I've been a realtor for 9 years, have degrees and designations and all this stuff to be able to talk to you about it, point it out to you. All you have to do is give me a jingle. I'll be more than happy to come out and see you. My telephone number, 519-995-6145, 519-995-6145. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Have a great night. Bye-bye.